He didn't just open doors. He broke them down, walked through with grace, and held them open for generations to come. When Sidney Poitier passed away in January 2022, the world didn't just lose a Hollywood legend. It lost a living monument to dignity, defiance, and cultural transformation. He wasn't merely the first black man to win the Academy Award for Best Actor. He was the first to win the world's respect on his own terms. Born to tomato farmers in the Bahamas and raised without electricity or running water, Poitier redefined what a black man could be in cinema and in life. He stood in boardrooms and film sets, behind cameras, and on global diplomatic stages. And at the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $20 million. But his true value, as a symbol of possibility, was priceless. From dishwashing in Harlem to dazzling Hollywood, Poitier didn't simply act, he elevated. His presence demanded attention. His words carried weight. His silence, when he chose it, thundered louder than most actors' speeches. This is the powerful, poignant, and extraordinary story of Sir Sidney Poitier, actor, director, activist, author, father, and freedom trailblazer. Early life. Sidney Poitier was born on February 20th, 1927 in Miami, Florida, USA, unexpectedly during his parents' trip. He was raised in Cat Island, Bahamas. Sidney Poitier was born 2 months premature, while his Bahamian parents, Reginald James Poitier and Evelyn Oughton, were in Miami to sell produce. So fragile was his tiny body that doctors told his parents he wouldn't survive. But he did, and that survival instinct would shape his every decision thereafter. The youngest of 7 children, Sidney grew up on Cat Island, where his family lived in a modest wooden home. No plumbing, no electricity, just the sun, sea, and soil. His formal education ended by the age of 12 and a half, when he moved to Nassau and began to see glimpses of a bigger world. At 15, concerned that the bustling capital might lead him astray, his father sent him to Miami to live with his brother. There, Sidney experienced the brutal sting of Jim Crow segregation for the first time. A year later, he left for New York City, armed with hope, a heavy accent, and the will to survive. He took on odd jobs, dishwasher, delivery boy, and slept in bus terminals when money ran dry. But in every setback, he saw a lesson. He bought a radio and mimicked American broadcasters to refine his accent. He read newspapers cover to cover to improve his literacy. And finally, he auditioned for the American Negro Theater and was laughed off the stage. Most would have quit. Poitier didn't. He returned 6 months later, refined, confident, and ready. This time, he was accepted. Personal life. Sidney Poitier married Juanita Hardy in 1950, and the couple had 4 daughters, Beverly, Pamela, Sherry, and Gina. They raised their children in New York, but after 15 years, the marriage ended. From 1959 to 1968, he had a romantic relationship with iconic actress Diahann Carroll, though they never married. Then came his true partner, Canadian actress Joanna Shimkus. They met on the set of The Lost Man, 1969, and married in 1976. Together, they had 2 daughters, Anika and Sidney Tamia Poitier, both of whom have worked in film and television. Sidney was a father of 6 daughters, a grandfather of 8, and by the time of his death, a great-grandfather to 3. Spiritually, Sidney often identified as deeply reflective rather than traditionally religious. In his writings, especially The Measure of a Man, he revealed a personal spirituality rooted in integrity, balance, and gratitude. "I had chosen to be a man of integrity," he once said. "That became my religion." He was also a prolific author, publishing several memoirs and a novel. His writings were warm, wise, and filled with the same purpose that defined his acting. Professional career. Sidney Poitier's first major film role came in 1950 with No Way Out, where he played a black doctor treating a racist white patient. The performance was tense, riveting, and a sign of things to come. In Blackboard Jungle, 1955, he played a rebellious student. By the time The Defiant Ones, 1958, arrived, where he played an escaped prisoner chained to a white convict, he was a national sensation. That role earned him an Oscar nomination, the first for a black man in a leading role. But the game changer came in 1963. With Lilies of the Field, Sidney made cinematic history, becoming the first black man to win the Academy Award for Best Actor. That moment didn't just shatter glass ceilings, it obliterated them. In 1967, Poitier starred in 3 blockbuster films: Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, To Sir with Love, and In the Heat of the Night. Each one tackled racism directly, but Poitier never played victims. He played dignified men, full of intelligence, pride, and fire. One of the most iconic moments in film history came in The Heat of the Night, when a white man slaps his character, and Poitier's Virgil Tibbs slaps him right back. It was a moment that sent shockwaves through America and inspired millions. By 1968, he was the highest paid and most bankable actor in Hollywood. In the 1970s, Poitier pivoted to directing, starting with Buck and the Preacher and later Uptown Saturday Night and Stir Crazy, which became the first film directed by an African-American to gross over $100 million. He also directed Ghost Dad and A Piece of the Action, proving his versatility beyond dramatic roles. Between 1997 and 2007, Poitier served as the Bahamian ambassador to Japan and concurrently to UNESCO. It was a role he accepted not for prestige, but out of duty to his homeland. Sidney Poitier received a Lifetime Achievement Oscar in 2002, the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2009, a BAFTA Fellowship, a Kennedy Center honor, and even a Grammy for Best Spoken Word Album. Yet no honor matched the respect of those who followed him. Denzel Washington, Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama all cite Poitier as a guiding star. House tour and car collection. Unlike many celebrities, Sidney Poitier never lived for flamboyant displays. He resided quietly in Beverly Hills, California, with his wife Joanna. Their home was elegant, private, and filled with books and family memories. As for cars, no flashy Rolls-Royces or Lamborghinis here. Poitier reportedly drove modest luxury vehicles, comfortable but not extravagant. For him, the journey always mattered more than the wheels beneath him. College career. Though Sidney Poitier never attended college, he built a life rooted in self-education. His most valuable university was the School of Hard Experience. He taught himself to read, act, direct, and speak with precision and purpose. His life story became required reading in countless classrooms, and his wisdom outshone any diploma. Cause of death. Sidney Poitier passed away on January 6, 2022, in his home in Beverly Hills at the age of 94. His death certificate, released days later, revealed that he died of heart failure, with Alzheimer's-related dementia and prostate cancer as contributing factors. Though he had beaten cancer in the past, it ultimately returned in his final years. Yet, he remained sharp, soulful, and spiritually centered until the end. Sidney Poitier was more than a man. He was a movement. He carried the weight of expectation, the burden of representation, and the hope of a generation, and never once let it crush him. He refused roles that degraded black identity. He turned down million-dollar deals if the character lacked dignity. When others chased fame, he chased purpose. He walked into white-dominated Hollywood with no apology, no surrender. His characters didn't just stand tall, they towered. They weren't sidekicks, they were equals or better. Today, young actors of every color walk through doors he built. Because Sidney Poitier didn't just act in history, he made it. Rest in power, Sir Sidney Poitier. Your legacy doesn't fade, it echoes forever.